I deal with so many men strategically putting roadblocks in front of me.
Welcome to Millennials Looking for Mentors. I'm Klein Eliardi.
And I'm Elise Notariani, and thank you to Jefferson Health, New Jersey for sponsoring this episode.
Today we're talking with Gio Thompson. She's the CEO of Camden Monarchs, who are a semi-pro basketball team based in Camden. But this isn't her first CEO gig.
No. Okay, let's talk about the fact that she's been a CEO for 10 years. I haven't even been working for 10 years.
That's a really good point. I had not thought about for out of college. I have been working.
Wait, how long have we been out of college?
See, this is worse because now I just realized how old I am.
Oh no.
And so I definitely have been working for 10 years. It's just that would include internships and stuff like that.
Oh, that doesn't count.
No? Okay. Then,
I mean, it does when I'm trying to get a job and I'm like, look where I interned. But otherwise, it doesn't count because I'm going to be in my 20s and young and healthy forever. That's
my high school job counts when I'm trying to get a job, and I'm just it's 12 years experience. It's all good.
Yeah, nobody cares about me answering the phones at the tennis club.
That's very applicable experience. I don't know what you're talking about. That's better than mine, which is teaching swim lessons at the Y.
This is our background, and Gio, and we'll get to this later, but her default is just being a CEO, which is wild.
Right. Which, by the way, important to note, she was the CEO of her own marketing firm, and then she founded this basketball team with her partner and is just killing it. So take a listen. Thanks so much for joining us today. We're very excited to have you. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So I wanted to start with this specific question because I'm very curious. What is your reaction when someone comes to you and says, hey, do you want to buy a basketball team?
Because I've never been in that situation.
Nope.
My first initial reaction was like, huh? It was like, what do you mean? I'm not sure if many people actually think that that's a possibility, or you grow up with the I want to be a basketball team owner. I definitely didn't.
Yeah.
Definitely wasn't on my list of to do things to do. But my partner at the time, he felt like I had just done so much, and I had always been talking about transitioning into sports, but I was more so thinking about from the management, PR side of it. Timing just was right, and he was just like, I just feel like if you want to go into sports, this is a good way to jump on the scene or whatever. So I thought about it for a little bit, and we did it.
Yeah, because that's a jump. That's not I'm going to transition into sports a little bit. That is I'm full-fledged. I am in this.
Yeah. It definitely was a deep water.
Did you ever get pushback being, a woman CEO? Because I feel like I can't even say that I like basketball.
Horrible.
I can't even say I like basketball without people looking at me as a girl and being like, do you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They don't think you're capable. And then they don't want you to succeed. I deal with so many men strategically putting roadblocks in front of me just so that they can be like, oh, yeah, I told you she didn't know what she was doing.
Cute.
Yeah, very cute. I love it. So I love it all the time because every single time I do something, I know it just burns them up. So it's just that is a part of the reason that keeps me going, because I really want to try to even the playing field a little bit before I get out of here, so that, the other girl behind me has a better or an easier transition or experience. So
yeah, they won't have to be asked that question, hopefully.
Right. Hopefully there may be a time where they won't have to be asked that question, and it won't be such a wow that a woman is an owner. But right now, I'm kind of in a trailblazing position, so I'm just taking a lot of bullets. But it's all good. We're gonna keep it moving.
Can you think of a specific time that happened?
Every day.
Literally every day.
It's literally every week. It's some type of something where it's just
is it every level too?
Every level. It's just not, I sit in a lot of rooms with men, some very powerful men, and I got there just because, I'm just myself, and I just, I came here, I didn't ask really for any help. I just did what I needed to do, and I appreciate, the acknowledgement and the respect. But on the flip side of that, there are a lot of people that don't appreciate it. So, you know, you just have to be aware of what's going on and you just have to just stay focused. It energizes you in a way too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? The competition or the challenge
Right.
energizes you in a way too. You get shot and energized at the same time. It's hard to kind of explain because you
No,
kind of
yeah.
like, oh, these people wouldn't be worried about little old me if I wasn't really making some real moves. So
Yeah.
you kind of have to look at the silver lining in it too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
And it is interesting. I not so much now with the field that I'm in, but at times in my life, there was always this like, oh, they don't think I can do this, so I'm gonna do it like 10 times better than they would. And it's
Oh,
Right.
nothing fuels
really
me like spite.
yeah, and it's really terrible that for women, that's like such a
Such a thing.
default mindset for us.
Mhm.
And so what goes into even just getting started with this?
After you buy the franchise, I mean, I learned that there's so many different moving parts in regards to really trying to run a successful organization. And I put successful because you can run something, but you know, it's different levels to how you run it. I wasn't really thinking about like, you know, like the operations. Like you think I got a basketball team, I gotta get players, I gotta get a coach. But then you don't think about the game day and how many things you need in order to run like a really successful event because it's really an event. It's not really a basketball game. You have to worry about concessions, ticketing, um, game day operations, people, entertainment, all of that stuff. So I really, yeah, I didn't necessarily think about all of those moving parts at first.
How do you start finding people to kind of help you out with that? Like, I don't know how I would even start delegating.
To be honest, I had my GM at the time. He came from the Sixers Blue Coat, so he had a lot of knowledge. And I had actually met him doing PR for Gilly and Wallow like 2 or 3 years prior. And so I, you know, reached out to him and he was like literally like the backbone of everything, especially in the foundation part. So thank God for him. He had all of the knowledge that I needed to be able to run, you know, a semi-pro level team. So he helped me out a lot. But really, once people get the word, you know, a lot of people start reaching out, but it comes with a lot. So, you know, right now I'm in the rebuilding phases. I really, last year, I wasn't necessarily happy with how the organization was running. It's really important for me that the community and the culture is established first before the sports. The staff that I had, they weren't really in line with my vision. Everybody had their own agenda. And so that's sometimes the things that you have to deal with when you have a huge staff. You know, it's hard to get everybody on the same page. I'm in the rebuilding phase right now. I fired everybody. So I had to like start over basically.
What was
That's
that
a little
like?
stressful.
It was hard because nobody understood why I was doing that. So it was kind of like one of those standalone moments or decisions, but I'm good with it.
How did you get to the point where you were like, no, yeah, this is the right
Um,
decision? Because it's, I mean, if you're
because
alone
it
in that,
became
like,
a situation where I just felt like I shouldn't have to continue to express my vision or battle with employees about the vision.
yeah. Are you at every game that they play?
I am. I am
Wow.
I'm not, I don't go to away games.
Oh, yeah.
I
Okay.
don't go to away games. Usually a GM goes or the coaching staff goes. I don't go to away games unless it's like unless it's like a top 10 team,
Mm.
then I'll go because I want to see how they're operating. I want to, you know, see what I can learn because there's some really, really amazing, amazing teams like Jacksonville, some of the teams on the West Coast that are really operating at a G level or above type of status where they're bringing out thousands of people, you know,
Wow.
all of that type of stuff. So I do always try to make it to those games.
Yeah.
So are you always analyzing the games as the CEO, or are you ever watching just like as a fan with a drink in your hand and cheering?
No, I've never been able to watch a game.
No.
I've never been, no, never
So
been
none
able
of
to
the
watch
above.
Yeah.
I think one time I was able to sit and watch the fourth quarter.
Did taking on this position change your view of basketball at all?
Yeah, sometimes I hate it. I used to Sometimes I hate it. I'm
Fair.
like, what the freak is this? But no.
I couldn't write that answer. That was amazing.
But it comes with the territory. I used to just be a lover of basketball, like a fan. But now I get it. From an ownership standpoint, it's completely a different view than being a fan. So
oh my gosh, I bet.
Do you have some times when you were doing something that wouldn't necessarily be in the CEO job description normally?
Yeah, everything. Because I really don't. It's a lot of owners who won't do it, but like you're going to come in and if I have to put the chair covers on the chairs, I'm going to do that. If I have to pick up the trash, if I have to be at the table selling tickets or whatever because somebody called out, I'm not. I really am not above it, and I think that me being like that helped people to kind of make less excuses about what it is that they needed to do. Because it's like I'm going to do whatever it takes. Because at the end of the day, when the fans come in, we got to make sure that the things are right, and it's going to fall on the Monarchs. It's not going to be like, oh, Lisa called out today, so we're sorry that you know what I mean. It's not that. So I have to focus about the brand, or
Were you selling tickets at one point? Like, did you jump?
Yeah, I was at the ticket table like a couple times last season.
Well, is that like what are the fans like?
They're cool. Some of them are cool. Some of them are, you deal with a lot of personalities when you have hundreds of people coming in or whatever.
What a nice way to put that.
We never really had too many crazy things going on.
What are some of the kind of situations you have to deal with at games that you maybe never thought you'd be in the middle of this kind of situation?
Sometimes the players' families can be very, very passionate. Yeah, we've had some players' families actually have to get escorted out of the games and stuff.
No.
Yeah, you don't really think about those things like crowd.
So how do you deal with that do you do something after the game with that? Do you go talk to the family, or are you just like?
Yeah, usually the GM handles it immediately, but it's happened several times. The families they're out there. I get it.
Yeah. And tell us a little bit about the community involvement you guys have in Camden.
We partner with Mastery Schools, so we do a lot of things with Mastery. We do a huge Christmas event. We've given out about 5,000 or 6,000 toys since we've been in. We do things on Martin Luther King Day. We always have the players out, the mascot out. We paint the schools, basketball tournaments. We do a summer camp, a free summer camp in the summer that we partner with Mastery Schools for. It is this summer. It was only for 4 weeks. Initially, it was 6 weeks. So I think next year we may go back to 6 weeks. But it's a free summer camp all day, Monday through Thursday, and our players come, the mascot come. We have crazy special guests. It's really, really dope. So that's a huge part of our give back.
And we would love to talk about the Love and Basketball Tee that you founded. You started that?
Yeah, I started the Love and Basketball Tee. I'm actually relaunching it in the spring, which I'm super excited. I'm doing one in Camden. Before I was doing it at during All-Star Weekend in whatever city All-Star Weekend was, but I want to focus on bringing a lot more really just women bosses to Camden for the girls to be able to see and be able to connect with.
So what do the events actually look like?
So usually we invite, I was reaching out to either girl groups in that city. I would also put it on Eventbrite and have it open to the public, but I was strategically trying to reach out to girl groups or shelters. And I would have a panel of women who are either in sports. I had a lot of like NBA players' mothers that were there, a couple of women off of TV and things like that. And we would do a panel and it would just be like an open forum, and women and the girls would just be able to ask questions. We would cover different topics from, self-esteem to, whatever. And it would actually be like a sit down tea. Limpton was sponsoring the event. So they would send, all the little tea sets, and we would actually have like a cute little tea, cute little food, nail polish stations, some self-care there. Just fun. Things for the girls.
You're right. I want to go.
Let their hair down and just have some fun. So it's really, really cool. And the real thing for me was the women who came, they were really, really transparent. And a lot of times they would break off and, talk to the girls individually. So I really, really appreciated that. I want the girls to really walk away with some real jewels and really, really feel like, they connected to someone and that they may have gotten something that they needed.
So talking about branding and marketing, because the experience that you have is like endless. But how does branding the team differ from your former clients, where it was probably I'm assuming it was more of an individual type strategy, because you're branding a person as opposed to branding an experience, really?
Really, I think the hardest part was I just had to make it look bigger than what it was. And you have to do that anyway when you have a client, especially from the PR side. You want to make them look as put together as possible. But I really was like, I need to present this like I'm in the NBA, and I need to keep that mindset, even if the budget is not there, even if, the staffing is not there, even if, you know what I mean? So that's really what the hard part was. And it was like I was doing it for myself.
You kind of became your client.
Basically.
Clients.
Yeah. Basically. I was my own client.
Have you ever had a time where you had to sit a client down and be like, you cannot do this. This is not a good idea?
Yeah, all the time. They don't listen. Because people, I think that, right now it's kind of crazy because I've been having a lot of experiences where like people have been reaching out to me and hiring me and then questioning if I know what I'm talking about. Like that's been happening a lot in these last couple months. And I'm just like, well, you hired me based off you knew that I knew what I was doing. And I'm sitting here spending most of my time proving to you that I know what I'm doing. So it's
because
like,
there are people that will pay a lot of money to have someone validate them. Don't necessarily want the actual feedback or work.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Yeah, I
Do you
walked
ever
away
get
from some big
tempted?
jobs recently because of that.
Wow.
Do you ever get tempted to like give in and just be like, all right, like whatever. If this is what you want to pay me to do, never. Sometimes I just feel like it would break me.
Prior to yes, because you feel the pressure of, oh, I need to make this money, I need to do this, I need to do that. But now I could care less. I will tell somebody no in a heartbeat, because if I continue to compromise, then they'll continue to keep my worth at a certain, you know what I mean? Right, so I have to show them that, no, I'm going to walk away from this money and you're going to deal with whatever it is you have to deal with. And then there will come a day when you'll realize and be like, oh, I shouldn't have did that, or she did know what she was talking about, and that's way more valuable than a paycheck to me that I keep, my worth up here. And sometimes, and with compromising, people will dim. And I had to realize that, a lot of people that I thought really valued me, they really didn't. Because when I set myself at a certain thing and they weren't willing to go with what I was saying, or willing to pay, or willing to acknowledge, then that means that you don't see myself the way that I see myself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. So
that's really good advice.
Yeah.
I'll just sit in the house with my baby before I do that.
Sounds like a good time.
I know. I'm like sitting here making a mental list of like, all right, here's all the things I have to apply that advice to.
Yeah. No, because but that's at the stage now, you know what I'm saying? As I'm seasoned now. So I feel like, but when I first, you get to where you just write, oh, I got to do this. I got to do that. Oh, I got to connect with this person. I got to do that. And you feel that pressure when you're first starting, or when you're in that middle stage, because you feel like, but you have to understand the value is in you, not in those other people. And the second that I've realized that I'm the person that's bringing, not saying that other people aren't valuable, but I'm just holding myself. I know that what I'm bringing to the table is what's going to make the situation complete. And it's going to make the situation complete in the best way. So I'm not going to negotiate that with you. You feel what I'm saying? So that's just where I had to learn. And that came with a lot of trial and error. But that's just my, what I'm always telling women all the time. Like, you set your worth at what you think. Do not allow your circumstances or what your boss is saying or what your boyfriend is saying or how you may feel that day to determine how much you're worth. That's it. And your worth doesn't change because you had a bad day.
Yeah.
Or because somebody told you no. You feel what I'm saying? Because a diamond, if it's covered in poop or it's in a freaking velvet bag, guess what? It's worth the same amount.
Oh, I like that.
That's what I had to, that's what I had to realize. It didn't matter what the circumstance was looking like. I'm still me. So that's non-negotiable.
I think I'm going to make that entire little section my alarm in the morning.
Yeah, right.
I need that reminder every day. Yeah, right.
Send it to me too, please.
We'll just have that on replay for the morning.
Yeah, we're gonna need that. And so what is your mindset now going into this season? Because a lot of things have changed since last season.
A lot of things have changed. Really, I still feel, unstoppable. I still believe in, my execution. I'm calm. I'm not, I'm calm. I'm like the, tiger.
I've gotta say,
type of thing.
There's a like, this happened and we're just gonna move forward with it that I'm getting moving from you. I'm just like, all right.
You gotta have that. You gotta have that attitude. You gotta keep the people around you believing. If I'm frantic, then you're not gonna, you know what I mean? But I feel very much like the tiger waiting in the bushes, waiting for, to jump out. I just gotta make sure that I'm jumping out, in the right type of way. I'm not pressured by anything. Fortunately for me, like I said, the league is allowing me to work in my own time. You know what I mean? I'm not, whatever. So it's all good. Like we'll be ready.
Well, thank you so much for this. This was great.
Yeah,
thank you guys for having me.
Thanks to Gio for talking with us. Make sure you tune in next time. We have new episodes of Millennials Looking for Mentors every other Wednesday.
Plus, if you know someone you want us to talk to, shoot us an email at mlfmpodcast@gmail.com.
See you next time.
Bye.